Hello and good morning.
Hey, Arrow.
Hey, Arrow.
How you doing today, Matt?
Doing awesome.
Excellent. Dude, I can't believe this is season 16. Why, my God, the years are flying by.
It's crazy. I mean, as someone said, like our little baby can drive now. It's crazy.
I got to give you kudos on something here. From one broadcaster to another, your storytelling capability when things are so unpredictable in front of you are just amazing.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. You know, it's something we've worked hard on and had a lot of practice with, and I think with Ninja, that's really what it is. And you know, with every show, really, you're telling a story, and I think Ninja Warrior does that in these bite-sized moments of these runs, and then figuring out, you know, what's the story going on overall, and it's really fun. I think, you know, having been on the show now, we're in season 16. I've known some of these ninjas, you know, well over a decade. We've seen marriages, we've seen, you know, babies, we've seen struggles and you know, the loss of loved ones, and it really, this community has come together, and it's so gratifying to feel like I've gotten to be a part of this, and to, you know, what the passion of these athletes have gone so far beyond the show to, you know, this is a sport. It could be in the Olympics.
Yep.
It's amazing. So it's always fun. Summertime's a good time for Ninja Warrior.
Dude, I was going to talk to you about the Olympics because breakdancing was allowed to go in there this time around.
Yes.
You've got to be able to go in there the next time.
I love it. So I've been doing my homework for the Olympics, and it's called breaking. They said that break dancing is redundant. It's so funny. They're like, it encompasses so much more than dance. I'm like, ooh, I love this. And I was watching, like, the U.S. has the #1 favorite guy, this guy, B-Boy Victor. And it's incredible. But anything can happen in a throwdown. And so I can't believe breakdancing is in the Olympics. I mean, I grew up in the 80s. I remember having cardboard and trying to do windmills, and now it's an Olympic sport. So it's nuts. And I love learning about the athletes and, you know, reading their backstories. And it's kind of like Ninja Warrior. Like, you know, the passion of these athletes has grown. This thing started from back in the 70s.
So, but really, when was the last time that a show like this had the continuation of those that are being challenged on the show? In other words, I mean, I remember on American Bandstand, you always wanted those dancers to keep coming back year after year after year. And that's what I love about American Ninja, is the fact that they're coming back.
It's crazy, and that's what's really been fun, is seeing someone like David Campbell, who's competed in every season, who's now 3 times older than our youngest competitors, because we have 15-year-olds on the course. And it's just insane to say, like, you know, when it started in season 1, he was the only person in the country who had a backyard obstacle course that we knew of. And now, you know, you can't go anywhere in America without being in about an hour or so of a ninja gym. And so it really is cool to see them, you know, really passing the torch to this next generation. And, you know, Arrow, it reminds me of MMA, where, like, I remember the first one was in Denver, and it literally was like a boxer and a sumo wrestler and a karate expert. And they were all kind of these people who came from their sports and then learned other disciplines. But then in MMA, you saw what happened when there was a generation that grew up training MMA, that did jiu-jitsu and wrestling and striking and all of it. And that's what's happened with Ninja, because the athletes now, they grew up as Ninja Warriors. And it's insane because, you know, I follow all of them online. I see their training, and they are so good. They challenge themselves so hard that we struggle to design courses that can keep up with this next generation ninja athlete.
But see, that's the fun of it, because doesn't that make you also a student, not just the announcer or the play-by-play guy? You have to be a student to know where it's growing.
Exactly. And that's what's fun, though, is, you know, with social media, it's so great because I follow them. And a lot of times when they do a crazy move, they'll tag us in it. And it's so fun getting to go in there and chime in and just say, like, oh, man, our obstacle designers see this, too. And they see, like, you know, we created a tough obstacle last year, you know, or Duck, Duck, Goose, or one that Sam Folsom created. And then all of a sudden you're seeing them before the season's aired. The ninjas who competed on it have built it in their gyms, and now you see them conquering it and making it harder. And it's like, oh God, we can't have that obstacle next year because they figured it out. It's just incredible how creative and how determined these athletes are. It's so fun to come up with challenges and to think we got them, and then you see them like figure it out, and it's it's almost like a scientist going, they've solved our problems. They're coming for us now.
You're going to think I'm weird for bringing this up, but in a really weird way, is this show not Evel Knievel 2024?
I mean, your mouth to God's ears. I was lucky enough to get to do Evil Live for the History Channel, where Travis Pastrana recreated Evil's stunts. And there was something about that daredevil, that guy who said, it's impossible. He goes, well, that's why I'm doing it. And we always think that with Ninja, where like we create these courses that you just think they can't do it. And these athletes will launch themselves, launch their bodies. And, we're very fortunate in that our athletes are so well trained, and our course designers do a job to try to keep it safe. But, these athletes, they are hurtling their bodies, sometimes 20 feet in the air, trying to catch them with just fingertips. It's insane, the strains they put on their bodies. And, they're not breaking 200 bones like Evel Knievel, but it's similar. It's in Vegas. There's a lot of energy, and you never know what you're going to see.
God, I would love to put microphones in several different homes to find out how many curse words we say while you guys are sitting there telling this story, and why you're not cussing right along with us.
Well, so that's what I always say is, listen, I think I'm a tremendous announcer, but I realize all I'm doing is the same stuff you're doing at home. Like, oh no, oh, look out. Oh! It's so funny. Like, someone pointed it out. You guys say the same thing every time somebody falls. It's no, every time, because it's just this visceral reaction where it's like, what's cool is we don't have to be neutral. This isn't like we're calling the Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers and you have to appear to be neutral. We're fans. We're cheerleaders. We want every person to do as well as they can. And we're invested in them. We've studied their backstories. We've talked to them. We know what they've sacrificed. We want them to do well. And when they fail, it's just like your heart breaks for these athletes. And so, but it's what makes it special. My mom always says, it's like, I hate watching people fall. And I said, but Mom, that's why when they hit the buzzer, it means something. Like, you don't get another try. If you hit a buzzer, you really have accomplished something. And that's what the athletes love. They don't want it to be easy. They want it to know if they did it, if they got a buzzer, if they got through an obstacle, that it meant something, that was hard. And so that's the beauty of it, is the athletes love the challenge. With
that medical degree that you have, how do you also keep in that seat when they do fall like that? Because they've got to be hurting.
Well, we had a dislocated shoulder. This must have been back in season 5 or 6. And they're like, Iseman, can you help? And I go, oh my God, it's been And fortunately, one of our competitors was Noah Kaufman, who was an ER doc. He handled that. And since then, we've gotten a lot better about having like trained paramedics. We've learned, like, you have to have some real specialists there. And, I'm at this point, I'm utterly useless, but we've been very fortunate. We've only had, I think 3 or 4 compound fractures in 16 seasons. And when those happen is when I'm really like, okay, it's been way too long. I am utterly useless. Get the real doctors in here.
Let's be honest about one thing with the listeners, and that is that now during the Olympics there's going to be a 2-week break. But I think the strength of American Ninja Warrior is the fact that, we're still going to be there no matter what. But I think that listeners need to understand that there's going to be a break, but hey, Matt's going to be back.
Well, that's what's great is, first of all, I think the ninjas in the Olympics share a lot of the DNA about, kind of these everyday people doing these extraordinary things, these people who aren't doing it for hundreds of millions of dollars. But I'm going to be lucky enough. I'm going to be covering the Olympics with the Gold Zone channel. So, Peacock, NBC, this is the most ambitious Olympics ever. There are 396 medal events. You're going to be able to watch every single one streaming or live on broadcast. And so it is going to be, there's sometimes as many as 40 events being contested at once. Yeah. I'm going to be hosting the Gold Zone channel with Andrew Siciliano and Scott Hansen, who you might know from the Red Zone channels for the NFL. We're going to be giving you nonstop action, all the big events live as they're happening on Peacock. So Ninja, it'll be a little break. I'll be giving you live Olympics that will come right back for the finales of season 16 on Ninja Warrior. It's going to be a banner summer for Matt Iseman, Ninja, and Olympics.
But see, Matt, we're going to be tuning in just for you. You're that guy.
That's what I say. But yeah. I appreciate you saying that. Here's the thing. I'm so excited to get to do it. I love, we got to do Tokyo and Beijing, and I love the Olympics for the same reason I love Ninja. For so many of these people who are doing these events, skeet shooting or, archery, like this is it. This is their life's work. This is the one time they get the spotlight on them. And to do it, not just for yourself, but for your country.
Mm-hmm.
And especially at a time where, it's just, there's so much chaos in the world right now. It's great to say, like, hey, let's settle things on the playing field. Let's settle things with sport. And so, I think it's what we all could use right now. Just a relief of normalcy and of people settling things, through physical struggle where, the thing that's usually getting hurt is your ego. and that's the announcers when I try the course mostly. But I'm just looking forward to the summer, and I think people could use a little ninja in Olympics.
Side-by-side racing back again?
It's back again. I love it. It is edge of your seat. These athletes push themselves. And what's so great is that's really how these ninjas are training now with so many of these other leagues is speed. And, that is something that's always been a part of ninja. And now we're really kind of, letting these ninjas go head to head. And it's great.
Oh, my God. I just can't imagine where their imaginations go because, they've got to get into that zone right now. Once it starts, you got to go.
It's, and I think that's one of the things you really hit on, Arrow, that we talk about the physical stuff, but to me, the great ninjas, what separates them is the mental game, that ability to turn it on and to be like, hey, you're running at 4 a.m. and you just watch 6 people fall. You got to figure it out. It's cold. You're tired. Where's that internal fortitude? Where's that ability to say, I'm exhausted. I don't have anything left. And then to say, but I'm going to find it. And I look at Jessie Flex Lebrecht. She's has more buzzers than any other woman. I think mentally she is tougher than any other competitor because there were times where I saw it. I saw her body be done, but I saw it in her eyes where she's like, nope, I refuse to quit. And just finding that extra gear. And I love watching people. It was like Michael Jordan. When you saw all of a sudden someone, piss him off and him get mad, like, oh, you just awakened the giant. And I love seeing that. I love seeing when people find that extra gear as a competitor. As an athlete, I was a nice guy. I only found it a couple times. Mm-hmm. But I love, like, our great athletes, they find a way to push themselves and do things that, even they weren't sure they could do. And those are the moments that I think we all recognize it. It's why we love the movie Rocky, but this is real life, is when you see like that underdog go, hey, here's your chance, that Eminem moment. Like, what would you do with your one shot? And when people make the most of it, there's all of us that kind of cheer and go, wow, that's kind of, they got to be the hero. And we love that. I think that's something so fundamentally American, that story of, hey, with a little hard work and a little luck, you could do something incredible.
Well, mentally speaking, don't you also disappear? Because you seem to be the type of personality that when it's showtime, all of a sudden, then the show is over and you're going, what the hell just happened here?
Yeah, and it's funny because, we tape, and obviously it's not breaking up rocks, but we tape all night, sometimes 5 or 6 nights in a row. And you're yelling the whole time and it can get tiring. And Akbar and I, though, it's the same thing. We're only tired until a run starts, because as soon as a run starts, both he and I, we were athletes. He obviously a little more advanced than I was, but we both are there where it's like, hey, this is when something special could happen. And I think we both love that because, I was an okay baseball player in college. And, he always says he was a journeyman NFL player. We didn't get a ton of special moments. So the ones we got were meant a lot. And so I think we both love it. And so there is something about when the show happens, we both are there willing these people, wanting it, because selfishly too, we love it when we get a call, a special moment. Like when Casey Catanzaro back in season 6 got up the warp wall, the first woman ever to do it, we were losing our minds. We were like, hey, this is something special. And we get to be a part of it. We get to be the ones describing it. So, it's nice because we don't have to work out nearly as hard as the athletes do, but we still get to kind of share in their glory a little bit.
Matt, come on now, because when you use your voice the way you use your voice, you're using those lungs too. How are you keeping those lungs in shape if you're doing this 5 nights a week?
This is what's funny is I actually had to go to a singing coach because I was blowing my voice out in the first seasons because I was just yelling the whole time, and I had to learn how to, like I'm rock scream. I had to learn how to really like project from the diaphragm and drop the voice down. And it's interesting, like I do singing or vocal exercises My fiance is like, God, you think you'd be able to sing by now with all the exercises you do? But it's fun, and it really is just that energy of. I love it. I do strongman competitions, and it's the same thing when you're watching someone, deadlift 1,200 pounds, and you just, what I love is it's energy, right? I feel like I'm always trying to impart my energy into the athlete. And, on Ninja, they can only hear us on a few obstacles, but I feel like the people at home, I feel we're all willing them. We're all like willing these people to stay upright, to last, to have their grip last a little bit longer. And so I feel like it's my responsibility to offer as much karmic and psychic and physical energy through my voice as I can.
So are you like me then when it comes to using your diaphragm? There are times that I'll catch myself putting my hand on my stomach to make sure that I'm breathing from that diaphragm. Just because, if I'm up here in my lungs, I'm gonna destroy my vocal cords.
Yeah, it's funny. And, I watch things like about Celine Dion, about how she won't use her voice during the day. And, Vegas is our toughest one. We'll do 6 nights in a row. And maybe more for this coming season. And it's just trying to stay hydrated and trying to sleep and rest. But it's always funny. As soon as the run starts, even if the voice isn't there, you're like, oh my God, it's incredible. You just do whatever you have to do to give the athletes the respect and energy they deserve.
All right, here's a personal question, only because I'm from Montana and we used to run away to the Denver area all the time. Did you learn how to express your true energy because you would spend time at Elitch's hitting those damn roller coasters?
Oh, my God. So I still have a stolen exit sign from the haunted house at Elitch's that's still in my childhood bedroom. Oh, I love the Elitch Gardens. My God, that place in Casa Bonita. Did you ever make it to Casa Bonita?
Yes.
The little Mexican restaurant with the cliff divers. It's funny, Trey Parker and Matt Stone from South Park bought Casa Bonita and restored it lovingly. And I'm hoping to get home during my wedding. When I'm home in September, I'm trying to get a special trip to Casa Bonita going.
Oh my God. You lead such an exciting life, but I'll bet you when it's time for you to rest, you're going, God, I lead a boring life. What is it? How are you able to be so open, and yet what is it like to be Matt at home?
Well, it's funny. I'm very lucky that I get to travel a ton. Yeah. I was just in New York. We were doing promo for the Olympics. And before that, I was in Vienna and Italy and then Miami. And so I travel a ton with work. We're going to, we're going for the Olympics in a week. And then I'm in Denver. It's I would say, I don't feel like work is that hard for me,
right?
Other than the long hours. Like it's so fun. I love what I do, and I love when I get to travel. Honestly, time off for me is just sitting at home. This is the first weekend I've had at home this summer where I haven't been traveling. And it's just I've got, 200 sheets of paper in front of me for the Olympics, for my Olympics homework, and just getting ready for that. So it's one of those things that I don't like it to slow down. Yeah. I love work. I love traveling for work because the stuff I'm getting to do it's bucket list stuff. It's covering the Olympics. It's going to host a climate summit in Vienna with Schwarzenegger. It's just, I'm very lucky. And one of the things I always try to do is just periodically stop, take a moment. I was in with Kenan Thompson, who's been on SNL forever. And we're just, we're promoting, he's doing the Olympics with Kevin Hart and I'm doing the Gold Zone. And I'm just sitting there with him. We're on top of 30 Rock. And, we were both like, all right, this is pretty cool right now. And it's fun to just take those moments and go, you know what? With everything going on in the world right now, just to be like, hey, let's slow down. Let's appreciate right now. Things are pretty good in my life. I'm getting married in September. Like, I'm lucky right now, and just try to enjoy it because you never know when the ride's going to end. So I'm just enjoying it as long as it goes.
Well, you got to come back to this show anytime in the future, Matt. The door is always going to be open for you.
I appreciate it, my friend. It's a good time. I appreciate it. Let me talk about Ninja Warrior and get people hyped up for the Olympics.
Well, you be brilliant and be safe, okay?
God, I love it. I love it. Positive talk here, Errol. Thanks, my friend. You do the same.